Such a pleasure to have you here with us. For people who don't know anything about small things like these, what can they expect going into this film?
Small things like these is where you go with Cillian Murphy, who plays this beautiful, quiet man who is hardly says anything, but is a very powerful individual. He's so his soul is so open, and he plays the coal man in a town in Ireland. And one morning he takes coal into the coal shed at the convent, and there is a young girl locked in the coal shed, and he has accidentally opened a door into the heart of darkness that is the Magdalena laundries, where young women are taken in, and it's a workhouse, young pregnant women, and the babies are born there and they're taken away from them, and with the collusion of church and state, most appalling unchristian act, and it's his journey through how he deals with that and what happens.
And of course, there have been a couple of films about this, but it still feels like one of these topics. It's not really been given enough airtime. Why were you already familiar with the book, and why was the right time to tell this story?
I hadn't read the book, but I have now. I think it's in Ireland, people are still discovering that they were a product of this system. People are still being approached by social services to this day saying, we have to talk to you, you're not who you thought you were. And it's truly, truly shocking. And the discovery at Tuam of the unmarked grave, a septic tank full of the bodies of abandoned babies, and the response of the authorities being, well, let them rest in peace. It's very, very shocking.
And Sister Mary, I mean, often when you're talking about people playing characters, you want to say you're humanizing. I feel like in this role, it wasn't so much about that, but how did you get into her mindset, and how did you play her?
In a way, the Catholic Church did all my work for me. It's about a community that's built on fear, and that when you're at the pinnacle of that community, you don't really have to do very much for people to be afraid of you. And that she just lets him know that she can quite easily destroy his life. She's like a puppeteer, really. It was, fun to do.
And the thing I felt about the film is it's so understated, so restrained. But then when these moments do happen, it can be so subtle, but it's so powerful. When they're both in front of that fire, even the way she sort of stirs her tea suddenly becomes monumental. What was it like playing that scene?
It was just beautifully written, really. It's very subtle. Didn't have to do much, but it was all there, all the undercurrents. It was a joy to inhabit, really.
And Cillian Murphy, I mean, always such an incredible performer, but really inhabits this role and definitely brings to the fore, such restraint, but so much emotion, like bubbling up the whole time.
He's breaking in front of our eyes, but he doesn't show anything.
What do you think makes him really stand out as an actor today?
He's naked. He's naked in front of the camera. I don't mean he's naked, but I mean the camera can see right inside him, which is a very special gift.
And Eileen was saying that, funny enough, you can be working on a comedy and, when you're not in front of the camera, it can all be quite tense. But actually, on a film like this, it can almost be the opposite, where there's some moments of lightness, when the cameras weren't rolling.
It was a very, very civilized setup, and we had a lovely time when we weren't in there doing this. I mean, I was only on it for a couple of days, so I didn't get to join in. But I think there was a lovely sense of community around this film.
And what do you hope the impact to be? Because I guess, as we said at the beginning, throwing a spotlight on the issue, but I think the way it ends, it does seem to be saying, well, look, we can all play our small part, and to do the right thing, whatever that might be in our own given context.
Bad things happen when good people do nothing. Don't be complicit. Stand up for what you think, what you believe. It's been terrible to say, but kind of fun. It's phenomenal. It was a brilliant piece of writing, and there was a really wonderful scene to get my teeth into, and obviously an amazing actor to be playing opposite. So it was just a delicious day to go to work. But the situation itself is so appalling. I mean, it's the most profoundly un-Christian place around the planet. To get to play this as well as 19 sisters, sort of savagery, really.